Welcome back to Bourbon Over Baseball with your host Bob's co-host Jeff and Matt and El Presidente joining us today.
I'm here.
he's back. He's made a special, returning guest appearance, I guess you could say, since he's been on all the original ones.
True.
He's taking a little rest and recovery, a little R&R, and coming back to put his 2 cents into some of this. So I think you guys will be very entertained, and he's going to drop some knowledge on you guys, since he is quite knowledgeable on the MLB Showdown subject. This team that we got for you guys to follow the Braves that we did, and who did we do with the Braves? We did the Marlins?
Yeah.
We did the Braves and the Marlins. So next up... the badass Montreal Expos.
Ale Mario!
Obviously, if you are brand new, you might know them as the Washington Nationals, I guess. But the Expos back then, they were pretty badass. That was actually a really cool theme song, I thought, too. I've never heard it before. I was very impressed. Yes. I hope, if you guys have not heard of the Expos or watched any of them, they're a pretty awesome team. I hope that they come back to Montreal. I think it's a pretty exciting team, and they always had such a great squad of people that have either come up through them or have played through them. So I always think they could have rostered the most amazing team.
Huh.
So we'll start off with Shane Andrews. Got a 6 on base, third base +1. Huge walk range for Jeff.
A huge home run, man.
Yeah, a huge home run range. I definitely don't really want this guy if I don't have to.
He's got the, I want to make note of I believe it's a 30th anniversary patch on his right shoulder.
Ooh, good.
So I think the Expos were 1969 from my research I just did. So anyway, I'm pretty into that. So,
it actually lines up, you mean?
Right, yeah, actually, we were getting patches that were based in 96. It made no sense.
Yeah, I still would like anybody that was watching that Indians one to be able to tell us about what was going on there. That is definitely the 30th anniversary 1969 to quote-unquote 1998 Expos patch. So
Look at that. That's great.
I just looked it up.
Yeah, no, this card is pretty bad, but I love that walk range. I love the home run range. It's one or the other, man.
Yeah.
You roll the dice, that's what you're getting. Assuming you'll ever get the advantage, which you won't.
He only played half a season, it looks like, and he batted a whopping 181.
Ugh.
Yeah, but he had 43 walks. Interesting. And 11 homers. So he had 51 hits total with 11 home runs. Interesting.
Jeez.
So nothing obviously too stellar about this card. Let's quickly move on to Michael Barrett, which is a card I think you brought up earlier, Jeff, a couple podcasts ago about the guy that was not looking like he's in his catcher gear, because I think he's playing third base in this picture.
But it's also a very unflattering picture. He just doesn't look like he's zoned in. He looks like honestly, it looks like he's just lucky, just happy to be on the field.
I think he's got spring training, it looks like.
Right. He got picked for the team and he's psyched. That's all I'm getting from this card.
See, as a kid, I always played this one because I assumed he was on his way to fight someone on the mound.
He's I think, again, I didn't look it up again, but I'm pretty sure Michael Barrett is the one who punched AJ Brzezinski.
Yeah.
In that play. Yeah, so he
is ready.
He landed a punch on Brzezinski. So this guy, I'm all about it. He doesn't look like he's intimidating, but he's about to fight someone.
The on base 7 here, and again the C speed. He should get a little bonus for arm speed for punching. But interesting double and triple range.
Huge double range.
Yeah.
Right.
He had 32.
He had 30 doubles and 3 triples with the C speed here.
I mean, for 170, he's only 1 to 3 out. I love that double range. The arm is bad, but he's a utility guy at least. He's slow, but not awful for 170.
Yeah, I'm not too down on this card. You play this card a lot, Peter?
I used him on my bench a lot when
Yeah.
I was at points. And then later in the game, either pinch hitting for the pitcher or to sub in at third base or catcher if one of those was sort of a punt hitting wise late in the game. Especially if my opponent had used up steals or didn't have them for strategy cards anymore and I didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I kind of like the card. It seems like a decent value for this. I'm guessing he got the C speed because of his 0 stolen bases and 2 caught stealing, and not actually because of the because he had 3 triples and 32 doubles. I assume he's decently fast, but he played a lot for them, so he moved around. The Shane Andrews looks like he ended up taking a spot, but he was only 22 at the time, so young gun.
And a quarter of his hits were doubles.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid double range. I mean, he did have a lot of plate appearances, but he had almost as many doubles as Vlad Guerrero.
This kind of it, and this is his rookie season.
Oh, is it?
Wait,
Yeah.
Yeah, 99.
He's only 22. Let me see here. Did he ever play? Oh, so he ended up playing.
He
for
played
Montreal.
8 games in '98.
Okay, so then he ended up playing a stint for Montreal, some for the Cubs, Padres 12-year career. Nothing crazy.
The 2005 season was his peak, which I think is probably the year that he socked Krasinski.
Heck yeah.
In an inner Chicago matchup, that's even better.
Oh yeah, Subway Series.
How's his 2005 card look, man?
Did you make it?
I don't think he qualified.
What a bummer. If he did,
Because for mine, they had to be under the qualified hitters, so I don't.
That 500 PAs.
I don't remember exactly, but because it was just however it was the qualified number on Fangraphs.
So close.
So he did it in when did he do it? 10 years since 2006 is when he hit him, I think. May 20th on my birthday in 2006. He hits Przinski.
Heck yeah, dude. It's the best birthday present you could have gotten.
Oh, and so at the time Barrett was the catcher. I didn't know.
Yeah, dude. That's what made me think of it. That's why I was surprised he was actually not wearing his catcher stuff.
That's fantastic. Oh, this makes this card so much better. All right, next up, Orlando Cabrera, and I've actually played this card a lot because of the +5 shortstop. But another control or on base 6, but huge double range, triple, and a little bit of power.
I'm pretty sure this one came in my opening set, like back in the day. Like,
oh, yeah?
I think this was my first shortstop.
I'm glad it's got this sick pose too for a shortstop +5.
Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah, he looks like he just turned that like double play or something, and huge blang hanging off of him.
For 150, I can't decide if I like this for 150 though.
Yeah, I know he's been used a lot because of the +5.
For sure.
I just know he sucked.
Well, I know he's gotten picked a handful of times. I don't know how. I mean, obviously you have some of the high range shortstop +5s, but I know he's gotten picked a pretty good amount of times.
I think it's interesting for a guy that is a +5. He only won 2 Gold Gloves in his career.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what their ratings were back then, other than I like this guy.
Yeah.
I don't like this guy.
Palmeiro's a DH.
I've got the team totals of the base set here just for reference. So the Phillies were the worst team with 8,190 points, and the Expos are still one of the worst 6 teams, but they are 1,000 points better than the Phillies. So
they're the worst team overall in the set.
The Phillies in the base set.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought you recalculated that and you had something wrong.
No,
Yeah,
I did. This is the recalculation.
Oh,
8,000 points?
Wait, that's not right.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna look at it right now.
It should be 4,000. I thought 4,000 was average.
Oh, maybe I'm doing the. Oh, you know what? I'm probably bringing in the pennant run because then
Even that 8,000 is way too many because they only added like 30 points in the pennant run.
Yeah, I thought they were one of the lower teams, but I don't know. Don't give me false data here, Jeff.
Yeah, you're right. Holy smokes! I'm looking at the wrong tab. No, the Expos are still pretty bad. So the Angels are the worst team.
Yes.
2,890 points. The Expos are at 3,500.
Okay. So below average.
Yeah. Their average is still, I mean, they're definitely below average, but yeah, they're still not great.
Yeah. Next up, Brad Fullmer here, another 6.
Was everybody just hitting doubles in Montreal? Is that what happened?
I don't know. How big was their stadium?
I mean, it was a host of the Olympics, right?
It looks like the gap in the middle was like the size of the entire stadium.
Did you guys watch that John Boy thing I sent with the high school fields? Some of them are pretty awesome.
This double range is outrageous.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that on any card.
He had 96 hits in 99, and 34 of them were doubles. So over a third of his hits were doubles.
Yeah. Yeah, he played like half a season and 34 doubles. I mean, he could have easily had like 50 to 60 doubles.
A 10 through 17. That is insane.
I know he's an on-base 6, but like
I've never noticed that before, that he had that many.
Right, I'm in for it.
I've literally had this card forever, and I've like never played it because I see 6, 18 homer, not that fast first baseman. I've just been like, I think I've always assumed it's 3 to 9 walk, 10 to 17 single.
Yeah. No walks. I mean, this guy is great.
Yeah, B speed, and he only has a 1 through 2 out. I'm kind of. It's not bad.
I think though we might be still filling our eyes before associating that he's still an on base.
Yeah, I mean he's still on base 6, but he's only 180. I mean, I guess that's only is a rough term. I mean, he does cost 180 for a 6 on your team. But yeah, I mean it's interesting. He didn't play much after this. He pretty much was. He had 44 doubles the year before.
He had a really good year in 2000.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's got a good card there too, doesn't he? For the Blue Jays.
Yeah, for Toronto, he had 32
but it's like
homers.
6 or 7 again.
Yeah.
No, I just put this one into my binder the other day, and I was like, he's behind Delgado, and but he's an on base 8, homered 17.
Yeah, 2002 he wasn't bad for the Angels either.
I don't know what happened to him, obviously, because his career just like all of a sudden went to nothing after the Angels. But like he wasn't batting bad in 2002. He batted basically 290 with 35 doubles.
And they gave him a shit card on when they redid the calcs.
Wow,
it's not fair.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him, if an injury caused him to stop playing. But yeah, he actually looked like he kind of was decent for a little bit. So who knows? Who knows? But I mean, he has some crazy doubles every year. I mean, he hit the ball to doubles. So he had a little speed on him.
Great card on the 2002 Angels that Matt made.
All right.
Yeah. Next up, Mr. Vladimir Guerrero. Great chart here, 8, 370. Doesn't get picked up a whole lot that I've seen. I assume it's because of the 370 for 8, but a really good chart.
Yeah, I think that's screwed.
Let's see, what did he do that year?
Yeah. He had a crazy year.
Yeah, 378 OBP. 131 RBIs, 42 homers, 37 doubles. Yeah, great.
Yeah, because his 2000 card, or his 01 card was better. I mean, I guess the on base was higher, but it was like the same thing.
Yeah.
Other than those triples, holy crap.
Yeah, I think Montreal's park must have been pretty solidly sized to get all that in there.
He was also the hero in the first round. He hit 2 home runs against the Mariners to knock him out.
Some guy on Twitter today was like, if the season gets shortened to about 20 games, I think the Mariners have a shot. That was pretty funny. But yeah, I the only thing I remember of Vlad Guerrero is my buddy Kevin like trying to wear his jersey every time we draft 2000, hoping to get him or not get him depending on the drinking rules. But I've never usually seen this guy played. I have seen the 01 card picked up during drafts, but not this one.
Yeah, I think this is a good example of how strategy cards change the way that power is calculated. Just because if you're playing with strategy cards, you have more opportunities for home runs and things like that. And maybe we should factor it in with the like the roll of one. You get to roll the 24 die, the mistake pitches.
Yeah.
Because in ours, he would be. I mean, like on base got skewed because of the steroid era in general, but like he's probably in our calcs an on base 9 homer at 16.
Yeah, and that'd be a stud.
So it's just tough for our boy Vlad.
Yeah, I do love Vlad, and obviously I'm excited to see what his kid can do. Next up is Wilton Guerrero, the second base utility guy. Big single range here, no homers, doubles and triples. I'm not really sold in this guy, and not really good fielding. 150 though for a 7.
It's Vlad's brother.
Are you lying to me?
No.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. It's like how Giannis Antetokounmpo's brother gets to play on the team. It's the same thing.
I went to the Greek night that they had in Milwaukee, and they started Giannis with Giannis.
Yeah, like, well, if we're gonna keep you happy, we'll sign your brother.
Yep. Next up, Dustin Hermanson.
Who wants the fun fact, Bob? You're gonna love it.
Oh boy.
Guess where he went to college?
Cleveland State University?
Kent State.
Oh shoot, I did not know that.
Golden Flash.
Oh man. I just saw like was it Edelman just doing some stuff for Kent State the other day online. But let's see. Hermanson, a nice 4.2 ERA. And the card is average. This is a standard 3 control, 1 through 16 out guy for 320.
Right.
Very standard.
Yeah, extremely standard.
He probably got a little bit of a blessing though because his stats were pretty bad that year. Next up, Steve Kline.
Everybody's favorite.
Has a pretty awesome control 6, 160 for 1 through 15 out. I haven't played this guy much. Usually because I'm always after like John Johnstone and like Real Coomer and all them.
Yeah, because they're like 10 points, like 10 or 20 points more, and you get no double.
Yeah, and with Johnstone, I think you get an extra out.
Right. It doesn't exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't super make sense to me why he's. I know that like on their standards, like I mean he's getting it for the 6, but like, and I'm nitpicking over like tens of like 10, 20 points here, but no, I mean he's still great. I would still be very proud to have him, to be clear.
And for our defensive people, look, he's got a huge ground ball range too. I think
Right.
That's why he's got so many points.
Oh, that's true. That's pretty solid. I do like the 16-17 walk also there. Let's see. Next up, Manny Martinez. I have drafted this guy because he's 90 points.
I have like 15 of this card just because I just kept getting him and getting like pack after pack, and it's just like, all right, what am I gonna do with this? Because he's never gonna get used.
I actually drafted this guy a lot. He's an A speed 5, outfield +1 for 90 points. There's not many low point guys in your teams, and you can slide this guy in your 9th spot and save a ton of points.
I'm pretty sure you took him in the first draft that I was friends with you that you did, Bob.
I'm sure.
When you took Bagwell, like 3rd overall, and like you were like, don't worry about center field. I've got this guy, Manny Martinez. I can slide in for cheap later. A lot of speed, a lot of singles.
Yeah. You're not getting him. You're assuming you're probably going to get an out. But
I mean,
if you roll a walk on their chart, on the pitcher's chart, you got a guy in first with A speed, and that plays +1 outfield. That's what I see.
Also, 4 triples.
Oh, good point.
A lot of single pluses too.
Yeah.
This is his last year in the big leagues.
Shocking.
He stole 19 bases.
Yeah, he had 7 triples. He only played half a season.
Yeah.
Like Billy Hamilton.
Yeah. But again, if you're looking for salary, a dump, or this is the kind of guy you might want. But other than that, he's pretty bad.
Pinch runner, maybe.
Oh yeah, another good thing. So if you're doing a blind draft and you get this guy on your bench, slide him in late. Pinch runner is great. Next up, Mike Thurmond, Big control 5, 1 through 15 out. 5-inning pitcher, which is the weird thing for this guy because most of these guys are like IP6s in 2000.
Oh, that blue jersey is just the best. It with the red text and the white trim.
Yep.
First card that we've covered to show up with that. I love it.
I just still don't understand how they gave some of these guys control because this guy was terrible.
Yeah, he was bad.
I mean, I know there's another pitcher we're going to talk about here in a minute that's even worse that don't understand his card either, but yeah, he was terrible. And he's a 5, 1 through 15 out. Like, that's a solid person.
Like, he outdueled Greg Maddux consistently when I was in elementary and middle school playing out like league stuff with really shitty teams from 2000, 2001 put together. It was always like Mike Thurmond and Maddux would match up on the rotation and the Expos would pull upset wins.
Wow.
Because he's better. Like he's a better card than Maddux. He just says less IP. And then you just turn it over to Kline and Urbina earlier.
Yeah, I just don't get. I mean, yeah, I don't know. He's just. I mean, for value for 410, it's not bad, especially if you have a solid bullpen in the game.
Yeah, he's awesome for 410. I would totally pick this card up.
Yeah, I kind of like it as well. Next up is the closer bonus, Ugur Urbina.
Closer bonus.
We got a 6 closer. We got the red hat going on, the blue jersey.
Oh,
looking
great.
sick. I mean, this card is obviously really amazing. For 200 points, you get a 1 through 15 out guy with no doubles. But again, you know, you could get John Johnstone for 10 points cheaper or whatever. So I don't get that, but don't understand his card either because he had a 3.7 ERA with 1.256 WHIP. But he's a great card.
Right. They just looked at this and said, "Man, he looks great in this jersey. We're just going to give him, you know, a crazy good chart and 6 control." I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm sure that someone was like, "Oh, dude, did you see how many times he saved the game for the Expos?"
Right.
See, I think they just shipped off some of the charting to Canada. You know, they like shows will shoot on the cheap in Vancouver.
Yep.
That's what they did here. They just were like, we're gonna let the boys up in Quebec throw together this set, and they were like, let's just give the Expos a couple control 2s that they don't deserve.
Right.
And like Steve Kline Steve Kline is worse than Urbina.
Yeah.
And he's also a tier 2.
But Bob, I will say this because my theory on no doubles is an extra base hit percent ratio under 6, and he had a 4.6.
Ooh, that's good.
So he just gave up lots of.
He gave up lots of singles.
Okay.
And walks, apparently.
So he's probably one of those guys that scared the shit out of you. He comes in the game's on the line, gives up like back-to-back hits, and then like gets out of it. Scare the shit out of you.
His walks per 9 was a 4.3.
Wow. Well, that's not that bad, I guess. Walk per 9. I just look at his whip and go, you know, 1.2 is he's every time he's coming in, someone's on base. That's what that tells me.
Yeah.
Which is about what this card is saying.
I don't know. A 6 control no doubles guy is shutting things down.
Right.
I mean, if I play this guy, I would assume that during the season of my season, he might let up a couple hits here and there. He should be shutting 1 through 3 innings left and right.
Right. Yeah, I almost want to get into conspiracy theory territory by thinking that maybe they made the Expos better than they actually were just because they wanted to sell more cards in Canada.
They could have. You know, make the Blue Jays decent, and, you know, here's... You know.
I know we've talked a lot about how potentially they bled the 98 season in with that.
Oh, yeah?
In 1998, he had a 1.30 ERA and a 1.01 WHIP.
They definitely could have done that.
With 34 saves and also had like a 4.5 extra base hit range as well.
They definitely could have been. They could have said, you know, he was great last year. Look at his statistics. They could have took both seasons. I have no idea.
Yeah, because he was insane.
The fan expectations a little bit would be smart.
Yeah.
Honestly, they probably started working on this game during the 1999 season. Yeah. Right. So like, unless something like massively changed, I would imagine they probably did a once over and said, whoa, we have to change this one up because this guy got great or got awful. But if it was like close, I'm sure they weren't nitpicking.
Well, and like you said, if they were trying to market in Canada, they might have been like, just dude, he was super good at 98. Leave those stats.
Right. Yeah, because exactly. I mean that's basic. That's tier 1, isn't it? 1.3 and a 1.01. Yeah.
Next up, we have Javier Vasquez. Super good, for 390, getting a control 5, 6-inning pitcher, 1 through 15 out. Rough here with the 2 doubles, but he gets picked up a lot because it's only 390. That 5.0 ERA that he had, and the 1.33 WHIP, that must have led to the doubles, I guess, but did not affect his control.
Or was his extra base hit rate like a 12, Matt?
I'm trying to get to it. If it was over a 10, it goes in with what I've been thinking.
There's not many 2 double pitchers, I feel like, in the set.
No, not back in that day.
Right.
So I mean, this is pretty rough. This would be scary to have, but for 390, that's why you're grabbing him.
Right.
And with a 5 ERA in real life, he got really blessed with this card as it is.
Yeah.
He had a 9.2 extra base hit, so he's pretty close to a 10.
Pretty close, yeah.
And it's not like he got the benefit of the year before, because as a rookie, 5 and 15 with an ERA over 6.
And he had a 9.0 extra base hit range then too.
He did terrible. He was like 9 and 8, but he had 3 complete games and a shutout. So they were probably like, man, remember that time he got that shutout?
When he's on, he's on.
Oh, yeah. We just got to get rid of those like 10 games that he did bad in, and then he's a super good pitcher. Next up, Jose Vidro. And actually, this card's been picked up a little bit because he's an 8 for 260, but I don't like him for the C-speed +1 second base.
Must have hit a lot of doubles, too.
This is where it drives me wild.
45.
How is he an 8 with his 346?
Yeah. Vlad was 378 and also was an 8.
I mean, Michael Barrett's got a 345. I mean, I guess that must have been the cutoff line.
Well, because we had that in the Royals podcast where Carlos Feblis was an 8 and somebody below him was a 7 but had a higher OB.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Vlad is 30 points higher. Like that's a lot to be higher than someone.
And I think he's a 1 through 4 out still too.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, unless the range was from 340 to 380, I guess it could have been.
It
just sucks because Jose Vidro was, now I would say much. I mean, he was worse than Vlad. Vlad is a great card and should have been, maybe a 9. But I feel like it drops off quickly because if Jose Vidro is 340, Orlando Cabrera is 293. You said what? Brad Fullmer, what was he? You said a 6?
Yeah.
And so he's 321.
And 287, Shane Andrews somehow got a 6.
And what was Barrett?
Barrett's was 345, and he was a 7.
So he's 1 point less, and he's a 7.
Yeah, I feel like either Vidro is a 7 or Vlad should have been. Vlad should have been 9. Yeah, I think Vlad should have been 9, but I think Vidro might be a 7. I think they kind of gave him a little bit of a bump, but
Vidro had 8 more doubles than Vlad, and got so many more on his chart.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really understand it. I mean, Vlad did so good that year.
Like, he had how many more doubles? Vlad only had 2 doubles, and Vidro has 5 on his chart. Like, Vidro's having more doubles in this game than Craig Biggio.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm just looking at. I mean, it just. Yeah, I feel like this Vidro card got like a huge bump for no. I mean, half the team got a huge bump, and then they hurt Vlad. It's like we're just gonna bump everyone, but like Vlad will just keep him level-headed over here.
We'll make the foil bad.
It's like they're like, let's just cut the legs off of the superstar. It's like they're negging him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, he had 131 RBIs, 37 doubles, 40. I mean, that's a great season. 5 triples, 14 steals, like everything you want. Almost had 1,000 OPS. I mean, fantastic. So, again, I've seen Jose Vidro drafted just because he's an 8, but I don't like this card. Next up, Ronald White. He actually does get picked up. I like the charts that have the 15, 16, 17, like, single numbers. It just looks cool. But the OF +2 gets him picked up. He had a pretty good season, and he's 340.
Yeah, there's nothing truthfully bad with this card.
Yeah.
Like, I know that it'd be great to have more doubles, but having a triple and a single plus is a great thing. And he doesn't walk that much. Outfield +2, like, yeah, no, I think for 340, this is a pretty good pick.
This will be my last criticism of the Vlad charting, but they gave Ronald White one less home run when he had 20 less homers than Vlad. He basically had half as many home runs, and he's going to hit just 5% less off his chart in the game. It's an outrage.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one.
We're just tearing them up on this one.
This pose that he does reminds me of the Glenn Allen Hill card.
Yeah.
So, but again, pretty solid card here. OF +2. I've seen him picked up. I don't mind him, and I think he does get picked up pretty often. So.
Yeah, he's a good option.
Next up, Chris Widger. 7 catcher +4 for 210 C speed here. 15 double. Again, another crazy double range. And their whole team had like 20 doubles apiece.
Yeah.
Besides like Shane Andrews and Manny Martinez. So weird.
They did lead the National League in doubles.
Okay, good.
320. They also led in triples.
They must have had
Makes
like the biggest
sense.
park.
Yeah, Olympic Stadium's big.
Okay. That and like, was that turf?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the AstroTurf. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure it was the main center of the Olympics when it was in Montreal.
I think that's correct. I'm just thinking like with the turf, you can when the Twins had it, you could hit grounders that would like squeak through the infield so fast, and you get a double out of it because it just flies.
Yeah.
But yeah, not a good card here. Again, this is what we're talking about before with catchers, where he's like too expensive for like nothing because he's like a 7 that hits the ball decently, and you don't get like any arm out of it and no speed. So it's like, would I rather just punt catcher and go lower with better arm, or actually put in value and try to get a good catcher? So I don't see him getting drafted much.
He had a lot of clutch hits for me as a 10 and 11-year-old.
Oh, really?
Fun tidbit.
Chris Widger. Next up, Peter. Oh, this is the.
I have lots of questions about this card.
Peter Bergeron, or is it Bergeron? I think it's Bergeron. But awesome card. This card gets picked up a lot. You got an 8 A-speed outfield +2 for 280. Again, not the biggest home runs with only the 20 here, but nice double range. I've seen this guy drafted a ton, and he's got great value for 280.
Is he a pennant run guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he had 55 plate appearances.
Right. That's why I said I have a lot of questions.
Must be a prospect.
I mean, if you look at his 2000 card, like if they started it then, like it would almost make sense. Minus his on base, but
I think that was like all projection.
Oh, it had to be.
Like this is what we think he'll do in the majors. I bet he was like a top whatever prospect or rookie of the year. Bergeron.
Jeff, I feel like Kevin always picks up this guy or someone in our league.
He does. I mean, this card is just the best. And this is like, I feel like, to kind of Peter's points, like this is like one of the cards I remember having. Like it must have been from the 2-player set or something. Just because I remember having this card all the time. It's just like that, that image of him, like hopefully getting that base hit is just kind of branded into my head for good things.
Oh, he was a part of a deal with the Dodgers. What did they trade him for? Oh my God. An article in 1998 said he could become the Expos' best leadoff man since Tim Raines.
Yeah. Someone read that article. Pump him up.
Yeah, I mean, like...
but not a salary. Keep his salary low.
Yeah, I mean, he had a 372 on base, 293 average in the Texas League. A lot of speed.
Yeah, so obviously they projected his card. I just don't understand why it's only 280.
Oh, he was 19. Oh, it's because, yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, this card is so valuable. I mean, we had Ronald White, who had the OF2. He was an A speed, was he?
Yeah, he was 60 points more. He's a B speed.
Yeah, he's B speed. He's got more power, but I mean, we're talking about, value here. This is the kind of guy I'd want on my team. An A-speed, super valuable guy who doesn't hurt me in the outfield. So.
And the speed makes sense. He had 34 steals on just 67 walks in the year before.
Yeah.
In the minors.
He had 41 steals in 98 in the minors.
Tim Raines, man.
Yeah. So he could fly.
Next up, was this Hideki Arabu? See, Control 5, IP 5, 370, 1 through 15 ounces. This is just what we saw earlier. The other guy
they're
was,
all over this tier.
Yeah.
Right.
But the other guy earlier was, so he was 410, I think, and
with 2 doubles.
No, that was Javier Vasquez. The who was the other guy? Hermanson?
Oh, Mike Thurmond.
Oh, Mike Thurmond. That's what it was. Yeah, didn't he have like the same card except more ground balls, and he got like 410?
Yeah, he had a 7 through 11 ground ball range.
Yeah. And he had more walks?
He had 2 walks.
Okay, so a little more valuable. I kind of like the 2 walks. I definitely hate getting hurt on the singles. But again, for 370, it's not bad.
No, it's a
Really good.
That's a good third starter for 370.
Yeah, I don't mind the IP5s. I mean, we're now used to it because we play with all this IP5s and 6 guys. Because, again, if you're listening to this now, obviously it's 2020. We just got done with the 2019 season, and pitchers don't go deep anymore.
I mean, he's essentially David Cone. Like, the only difference is a walk becomes a single, and, like, he has 1 less IP. But for, what is it, like 80 points less?
Yeah,
90
isn't Cone 450?
Yeah, it's a great deal.
Yeah, I have never played this card, and I'm looking at it now going, screw the IP. I'll just stack up with a couple good relievers, and I'm solid.
This guy gives up a lot of home runs.
He did not live up to this card.
Oh.
No, he didn't.
Next up, Lee Stevens. This guy's this +1 first baseman that I always remember. How close is this card to his Texans card or Texans? The Texas card, the Rangers.
I think it's really close.
I mean, I remember him being a 7+1 first baseman. I just don't remember, and I know
like
he's fielding in the image.
17 homer.
Oh, did he?
I'm trying to pull it up right now.
Okay, let me know. But again, this card, 7+1 first base, 230 points, 18 home run. It's not too bad.
Wait, he had 17 to 20 on the Expos too.
No, it's 18.
The only difference is the Rangers card has 1 more single, and he's a B speed, and that was worth 90 points.
It's an 18 on the Expos card.
Well, it doesn't say that on the showdowncards.com. They entered it wrong.
Really?
Oh, wow.
That's on the picture that I got open.
Yeah, the picture makes more sense. The picture says he's 230 points.
Yeah.
Is that Showdown from like 2001?
Oh, you're right. The 2001 card is a great deal.
But it really is like they he was a 1 through 3 out in the regular. He became 1 through 4. He lost a walk, and he gained 1 more single, and then gained a double and lost a home run.
Yeah, I think I'd rather the 270 version of him. I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just 40 points.
He's got more pop, less outs, and you're not sacrificing anything else for only 40 more. But I mean, how do you like this, Jeff, with the +1 first base?
Dude, I can't help myself. I'd pick him first round. No, he's I mean, I again, we talked last time. Like, I feel like a trap they could have definitely fell into is overweighting the +1. Like, they could have made this card like a 250, 270 or something, but almost like a closer bonus type of thing. But I don't think they did that, which is good. I think they kind of adopted the Peter kind of mentality that, infield defense doesn't really matter. A +0 and a +1 is still only a difference of 1. So, but I think for 230, I mean, he's not the worst. And like, I'll pick a +1.
Yeah.
If I can, right?
Would you rather start him or Fullmer?
Let me see.
I guess it depends on what pitcher you're facing. If you're facing like a 3, I'm going to Fullmer.
I'd still do Fullmer just because this card is ridiculous. Honestly, I would do Fullmer just at the chance that he gets the advantage one time, and I just know it's a double. You know?
God, that'd be such a depressing own chart out.
Like his fielding percent wasn't even like that great. He had 8 errors.
Here's my hot take. I think they gave him the +1 on the Rangers because Rafael Palmeiro won the Gold Glove. And they made Rafael Palmeiro a DH, and they were like, oh, but the Rangers infield defense needs the boost.
They're like, Gary, you already made the Rafael Palmeiro card. We can't go back and change it.
So Lee Stevens played 130 games at first base in 99.
Yep.
And Palmeiro won the Gold Glove.
That impressive.
Oh my God.
And he said he had 8 errors.
He had 8 errors. Yeah.
That's pretty ridiculous. So, okay. Next up, Anthony Telford. Actually, an interesting card. I've actually seen him play actually as well, just because of a low point reliever. But no doubles, Jeff.
He's awful. I don't get it. Like the reliever stuff continually baffles me because there's so many incredible, and I mean truly incredible relievers from like 140 to 160, 170, right?
Yep.
And then like this dude shows up for like, I mean, I know he's half the points, but he's still only a difference of like, you know, think of the difference you're getting in 80 points going from this to like a John Johnstone.
I know.
I just don't get it.
And that's why the huge change happened in 01 where they pumped him up like crazy.
Right, and then it like broke it the other way. You know, no one picks them because of that. But yeah, no, this card is for 70. I get he's low points, but woof. Yeah. Like, I feel like this card, I guess my standards are maybe more based on like our custom sets now, where this guy would be like he wouldn't be 70 points, right?
He'd be like 20, maybe.
He'd be 20, right?
Look at that ground ball range.
Right. So it's so funny because like this guy in our current sets would be a 20-pointer, whereas like John Johnstone or anybody else, like I can't remember the name of the guy on this team that has the same chart, same kind of idea, same card. He would probably become like a 200+ point. Really.
Oh yeah.
So they're all clumped kind of in the middle, but like if they're just like not even getting close to the extremes they should be.
Yeah. Well, while we still have a little bit of time on this podcast, I know we're already running at 40 minutes here. I wanted El Presidente, Mr. Peter, to talk about quickly the like some of the what could have been for the Expos, because again, maybe not everyone knows this, but on the blog, I don't know, was it you that wrote that, Peter, or?
Yep, that was me.
So there's a blog about like who could have been at the Expos, because just run down some of the names of the people that have been at the Expos. They're like basically Hall of Famers or already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so the premise, as most people know, 94 Expos were leading the way before the strike, and then unfortunately, sort of as a consequence of the new structure and deal between owners and players after the strike, they got split up. So I made the 94 teams on the blog too, but I made a quote unquote what if team that just basically looked at all the players that the Expos lost following the strike and envisioned them on the Expos as they were put out in the original set. So the lineup was Marquise Grisham's 260 point on base 7 in the leadoff spot, that excellent Cliff Floyd card on the Marlins, Larry Walker.
That's my boy.
20-point beast in the 3-hole, supported by Moises Alou, who I gave like his pennant run card. Ronald White was on the 94 team, so I kept him in there. Obviously, you would have Vlad probably playing in the corners, or you'd have Grisham on the bench. But still, Darren Fletcher, the good catcher for the Blue Jays, is on there. Will Cordero, who's a really interesting on-base 7 for the Pirates in the set, was on the Expos. Mike Lansing, a decent on-base 7, was on them. And then it rounded out with crappy Sean Barry. But, I mean, and then leading the way, and what most people would be interested in, is obviously Pedro Martinez.
Oh, yeah.
As the ace. So you have tier 1 dominant Pedro and 600 plus point Larry Walker. Then you got Gil Herrera, the A's starter, tier 2, providing relief. And in the bullpen, John Wetland, the really good closer for the Rangers, would have still been on this team. Plus Jeff Shaw, the tier 2 no doubles guy for the Dodgers, was on this team. So, like, if you put together all the guys that could have been on this Expo squad instead of being one of the bottom 5 teams, they're easily one of the top 5 teams in the original set. I don't know if they necessarily would be better than the Braves, but it's taking away from the Red Sox. And I think it would be Braves, Expos, Yankees as the 3 best teams.
Is that Gabe White, the 01 version?
Yeah, because they didn't have enough relievers.
Gotcha.
So I could have put Steve Kline in there, but I thought it'd be fun since Gabe White got so much playtime for the 94 Expos to give him his 01 card.
Yeah, I thought what was so cool about the article was that, like, what if they could have been, and obviously I'm a huge Larry Walker fan, and it's just like thinking about it, like how great Larry Walker was for the Rockies, and Pedro was for Boston, and you look at it going, these guys all were like playing on the same team. They could have all been there, and just this team could have been so dominant and like obviously more memorable than they already were. Just
I mean, if you mix in Vidro and Vlad, put Chris Widger at third,
Brad Fullmer.
Yeah, get Brad Fullmer off the bench, mix in Steve Kline and Urbina, and then if you give them Mike Thurmond and Rubio and Vasquez in the rotation, this is a really, really good showdown team. Plus, I really like the way the powder blue came out, and I printed all of these off, and they play really well. So
that's awesome.
Highly recommend.
And I'm glad you're able to touch base on. So if anybody else wants to see that, they can check that out on the blog. I will try to link it in the video below on the YouTube channel so you guys can see that. But that, everyone, is the Expos. Is there any closing words you guys would like to say?
No, R.I.P. Expos. I hope they come back.
Me too.
Vlad deserved better.
Well, thank you everyone for listening, and stay tuned for the next time.